December 2nd, 2020. The icy cold of Moscow winter seeped into the balcony of a small apartment in Ivanovka. In the corner of the screen, a girl lays motionless, her body pale and rigid as frost formed on her skin. She's dead. She was dressed only in her underwear and was exposed to sub-zero temperatures for hours, and inside the apartment. Her boyfriend was live streaming and got caught with this gruesome act. But this is just the start. The live streams only get darker and more disturbing, ultimately leading to the darkest live stream ever streamed, a live stream massacre. These aren't just any streams. These are the darkest moments in streaming history. Stanislav began his online career innocently enough, streaming gaming content and lighthearted vlogs. Over time, however, his channel evolved into something darker. Stanislav found fame by doing tasks that viewers would donate for and bullying people. Stas forces people to come on stream, and his viewers donate. Stas would abuse people in whatever way the audience requested, turning the people suffering into a sick spectacle for their entertainment. He forced them to drink his pee. He also brought a disabled guy on stream and abused him because the viewers wanted it. He slapped him, made him drink oil, and even get a permanent tattoo of one of the viewers on his face, which is so sick that the viewers would even want to see this. Valentina Grigorieva, Stanislav's girlfriend, often appeared in his streams. She was described by friends as warm and kin, a stark contrast to the toxic environment surrounding Stanislav's content. But as Stanislav's streams grew more extreme, Valentina became an unwilling participant in his increasingly abusive actions. Stas would pepper spray her, push her around and hit her, but he would soon realize that his actions will result in something truly terrifying. The night of December 2nd began like many others, a stream filled with alcohol, chaos, and an audience eager for entertainment. But as the night progressed, Stanislav became aggressive, egged on by viewers who offered donations for cruel acts. One particularly large donation, $1,000, came with a chilling request: beat Valentina and throw her outside. Stanislav compiled without hesitation. He stripped Valentina down to her underwear, dragged her to the balcony, and put cold water on her before locking her outside. Valentina tried to grab a jacket, but Stas took it from her, saying the cold would make her sober. The temperature that night ranged between -3 and -8 degrees. Stas was fully aware of how cold it was. She begged to come back in, crying out. He ignored her. Instead, he laughed, joked with his audience, and continued drinking as the minutes turned into hours. After hours, when she finally stopped talking, Stas went to check on her. When finally he opened the door, Valentina was no longer breathing, but rather than immediately seeking help, Stanislav addressed his viewers, treating the horrifying scene as if it were part of a show. On the live stream, viewers watched as he carried her inside and called paramedics. He cried, saying he couldn't feel her heartbeat, but even as he waited for help, he kept talking to his viewers. Valentina's body lay on the couch behind him. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Stas called for an ambulance. But it was too late. Valentina Grigorieva had died on camera, her final moments broadcast to a horrified audience. When the authorities arrived, Stas left the stream running because viewers promised to donate if he showed what happened next. An autopsy later revealed that Valentina didn't just die from the cold. She also suffered blunt force injuries to her head, caused by Stas before he locked her outside. He lied and said that she died because of a drug overdose, which clearly wasn't the case. Stanislav Reshetniak only received a sentence of 6 years, and just 3 years into his sentence, he was transferred to a lower security prison. It's honestly hard to put into words how unfair this is. 6 years for causing 2 lives to be lost. Yes, 2 lives. His girlfriend was pregnant. This guy is an insane sociopath, and in my opinion, he deserves a lifetime in prison. On the other hand, it's absolutely more disgusting that his viewers donate money to contribute to the people's tortures. But the people who donated and made suggestions to Stas were not held accountable, so whoever told Stas to do that is free right now. The Russian streaming community is a bizarre and often disturbing world, where illegal and barely legal content thrives unchecked, and the authorities do little to intervene. But there is more people like Stas, and the streams get even darker. The next senseless act of violence took even more innocent lives, this time on a scale that would send shockwaves far beyond the streaming world. On October 9th, 2019, the quiet streets of Halle, Germany, were about to become the backdrop for a chilling act of violence that would push live streaming into even more disturbing territory. Stefan Balliet, a 27-year-old neo-Nazi, lived an unremarkable life with his mother in a nearby town. Though he had no previous ties to extremist groups, Balliet had become deeply entrenched in far-right ideologies and conspiracy theories that festered in the darker corners of the internet. As it turns out, this seemingly ordinary young man was harboring a sinister plan that would shock the world. The date Balliet chose for his attack was no coincidence. October 9th marked Yom Kippur, the holiest day in Judaism, a day of atonement and reflection. In the hours leading up to his assault, he meticulously prepared, arming himself and setting up his live stream equipment. It's unclear if anyone close to him had any inkling of the horror he was about to unleash. Viewers were confronted with a chilling manifesto. In it, he outlined his twisted goal: to kill as many anti-whites as possible, Jews preferred. Even more bizarrely, he included a list of achievements reminiscent of video game scoring, revealing a disturbing disconnect from the reality of his actions. This wasn't just an attack, it was a performance for an online audience. Clad in tactical gear and heavily armed, Balliet approached the synagogue. The tension was palpable as he attempted to breach the building's security measures. Fortunately, the doors held firm against his assault, but Balliet's frustration at this setback would soon turn deadly for innocent bystanders. Unable to enter the synagogue, Balliet's rage found new targets. A woman passing by became his first victim, gunned down in cold blood on the quiet streets of Halle. The horror didn't end there. Balliet then moved to a nearby kebab shop, where he took another innocent life. All the while, his live stream captured every horrifying moment, broadcasting his hate-filled rampage to the world. Throughout the 35-minute stream, it's worth noting that while only 5 people viewed the stream in real time, the video spread like wildfire in the aftermath, reaching around 2,200 viewers before Twitch managed to take it down. The attack sent shockwaves through Halle and beyond. A day of sacred observance had been shattered by senseless violence. 2 lives were lost, families were left devastated, and a community found itself grappling with the ugly face of modern extremism. The German justice system would ultimately sentence him to life imprisonment with subsequent preventive detention, effectively ensuring he would never walk free again. But while some stories are met with justice, others take darker, even more chilling turns. The world of competitive gaming had always been intense, but on August 26, 2018, it would become deadly. As the sun rose over Jacksonville, Florida, excitement filled the air at the GLHF Game Bar. Gamers from across the country had gathered for a high-stakes Madden NFL 19 tournament, their eyes set on a coveted spot in the Las Vegas finals. Little did they know that by day's end, their passion for Madden would collide with a horrifying real-world tragedy. Among the 130 to 150 participants and spectators was David Katz, a 24-year-old gamer from Baltimore. Katz wasn't just another face in the crowd, he was a former champion, having won $10,000 in a previous Madden tournament. But beneath his competitive exterior lurked a troubled mind. Katz had a history of mental illness and had been prescribed antipsychotic medication. As the tournament progressed, the pressure mounted, and Katz's behavior began to raise eyebrows. As the day wore on, Katz faced elimination from the tournament. It's unclear exactly what transpired in those crucial moments, but witnesses later reported that Katz had become visibly angry about losing. The competitive spirit that usually fueled these events had twisted into something sinister. Katz's elimination wasn't just a loss, it was a trigger. Without warning, the sounds of gunfire erupted, drowning out the cheers and commentary. The live stream captured the moment in chilling detail. Inside the venue, panic spread like wildfire. Players who had been focused intently on their games suddenly found themselves in a fight for survival. They scrambled for cover, overturning tables and diving behind whatever shelter they could find. The sounds of screams and gunshots echoed through the bar, In the span of mere minutes, Katz fired 12 shots, forever altering the lives of everyone present. When the gunfire finally ceased, the toll was devastating. 2 promising young gamers lay dead. Elijah Clayton, known to fans as True Boy, and Taylor Robertson, who went by Spot and Please. 10 others were injured. Their day of friendly competition turned into a struggle for survival. As the smoke cleared and first responders rushed to the scene, a grim reality set in. Katz had turned his rage not just on random bystanders, but specifically targeted his fellow competitors. The very community that had celebrated his previous victory was now reeling from his violent betrayal. How had Katz, with his history of mental health issues, legally purchased 2 handguns in Maryland just a month before the attack? Why had security measures at the tournament been so lax? Many questions remain, and some people even think this is the most disturbing thing caught on stream. Or is it? As the gaming community grappled with the Jacksonville tragedy, another livestream nightmare was brewing.
Lying on the ground in Buffalo, New York.
Shots fired, 1275 Justin.
This time, the target wasn't a tournament venue, but a place where families shop for groceries. In Buffalo, New York, a seemingly ordinary teenager was about to prove that no place, not even your local supermarket, was safe from the rage and real-world violence. Payton Gendren, an 18-year-old from Conklin, New York, appeared unremarkable on the surface, but beneath that facade was a dark, planned attack fueled by hate and broadcasted for the world to see. Gendren had traveled nearly 200 miles to reach his target, the Tops Friendly Market store in a predominantly black neighborhood of Buffalo. The young man's preparations were chilling in their detail. A 180-page manifesto posted online shortly before the attack laid bare his twisted motivations, rooted in the false and dangerous Great Replacement theory. This document wasn't just a rant, it was a blueprint for mass murder. Gendren had included a hand-drawn map of the store, a minute-by-minute plan for his assault, and a list of the military-style equipment he intended to use. As it turns out, this wasn't Gendren's first visit to the store. He had scouted the location back in March, a detail that highlights the premeditated nature of his actions. The choice of target was no accident, it was a calculated decision to inflict maximum harm on a specific community. On May 14th, 2022, around 2:30 p.m., Gendren's plan shifted from preparation to horrifying action. As he arrived at the supermarket, heavily armed and clad in tactical gear, he activated his live stream on Twitch. The first shots rang out in the parking lot, shattering the peace of what should have been a routine Saturday afternoon. 4 people fell victim before Gendren even entered the store. Inside, the horror continued to unfold in real time as he methodically targeted shoppers and employees. Among the chaos and terror, acts of heroism emerged. Aaron Salter Jr., a retired police officer working as a security guard, bravely confronted the shooter. Salter managed to hit Gendren with at least 1 round, but the bullet was stopped by the attacker's body armor. Tragically, Salter's courageous stand cost him his life. 11 of the 13 people shot were black, a stark testament to the targeted nature of the attack. Among the victims were a beloved grandmother and a community activist. In the aftermath of the shooting, law enforcement officials, including the FBI, launched investigations into the incident as a hate crime and an act of racially motivated violent extremism. He said he killed people because they were black.
I'm very sorry for all the pain I forced the victims and their families to suffer through. I'm very sorry for stealing the lives of your loved ones. I cannot express how much I regret all the decisions I made leading up to my actions on May 14th. I did a terrible thing that day. I shot and killed people because they were black. Looking back now, I can't believe I actually did it. I believed what I read online and acted out of hate. I know I can't take it back, but I wish I could. And I don't want anyone to be inspired by me and what I did.
As of January 2025, Gendren remains in prison serving his life sentence without the possibility of leaving. The federal case against him is ongoing, with his lawyers arguing that he should be exempt from the death penalty due to his age at the time of the attack. In the aftermath of the Buffalo shooting, criticism rained down on Twitch and other platforms. Calls for stricter regulations on live streaming grew louder. My love and condolences goes to every innocent life and their families mentioned in this video. Let me know what you think about these streams in the comments. If you have any stories you want to share, feel free to email me here. Subscribe because the videos will only get better.